These are iPhones. And I'm going to talk about how they managed to sell 2.2 billion phones. But we need to go back to 2007.
Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant
Now, this
screen.
might not look impressive, but at the time it was a game changer. All the other phones were just a brick with lots of buttons. And it was quite pricey, but that didn't matter. They actually sold 6 million phones in the first year. And the iPhone wasn't perfect. It had its issues, but they did fix most of them on the next iPhone, the 3G. And oh yeah, it had a 30-pin charging port. I sure do not miss it. At this point, iPhones were getting quite popular, and Apple kept introducing new features like a front camera, Retina display, and Siri. At first, Siri had its issues, but it worked out after all. And of course, everyone wanted to get their hands on this new technology, so people started doing crazy things to get the new iPhone.
But what drives people to wait in the cold for a new phone?
And what's the 5S going to do that the 5 doesn't do?
Realistically, probably not much. There's a fingerprint scanner, which is very cool.
So you've queued for 3 days to buy a new phone that is not going to do much more than the phone you've got at the moment.
At the end, we'll walk away with something new that we all want.
Now in 2014, it was a big year for Apple. They came out with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Surprisingly, they sold 222 million phones, which took the title for the best-selling smartphone of all time. But it was not all rainbows and sunshine for Apple. After a week of the iPhone being released, plenty of phones were getting bent, and the hashtag BentGate started to become a meme. And apart from that, the iPhone 6 Plus had some technical issues, with the touchscreen completely stopped working. Apple did address the issues, but the damage was done. Then Apple announced the iPhone 7, just for people to realize that they removed the jack. It's still pretty disappointing to this day. But strangely enough, they came out with AirPods at the same time. And I wonder why. The 8 was nothing too special. They added wireless charging and called it a day. Then Apple decided to skip the iPhone 9 because their 10th anniversary was coming up, so we got the iPhone X. And oh yeah, the home button went bye-bye. When it comes to the iPhone 11, 12, and 13, it's just one big blur. They're all pretty similar. Now the iPhone 14, which is the most recent phone to come out, it has a better camera, a dynamic island, and crash detection, which is pretty cool. But what makes iPhones so different from the rest? Well, there are a couple of reasons, but the main one is the branding and the customer loyalty. If you already own an iPhone, it's very likely you're going to upgrade to a newer iPhone in the future. Another thing is the network effect. Basically, all Apple products work great with other iPhones, which makes sense. But if you want to airdrop something to your friend that also owns an Apple device, you can send whatever you want to them. But if they own an Android, you cannot, making the Android user feel like they're missing out, and that makes them want to buy an iPhone. And this works surprisingly well. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.